In the middle of the night, 3 gangsters hit a man behind his back. Not only did they steal the man's money, they smashed him badly. A carry-on welding cap is worn on the head. Baggage was also seized. The man also lost his memory. An interesting wandering story begins here. After waking up, he went to the bathroom at the station. The security guard on duty followed and found him lying in the toilet. There's a dead man here. The man was taken to hospital, but soon he lost his breath. The doctor declares patient dead. When everyone left here, he suddenly sat up. He straightened his crooked nose. The next day he appeared by the sea. A homeless man stole his shoes. 2 little boys notified their father when they saw the man was alive. The man rescued by this family. They are poor, but the hostess still cooked a handful of rice for him and fed him spoon by spoon. This is making the 2 kids hungry. The family lives in a container and living a tough life. Only the husband keeps a vigil at a nearby factory. The hostess changed the gauze for him at night. Jack finally opens his mouth.
Kiitos.
But what happened last night made him remember nothing. The husband leaves work the next day. 2 kids putting down poker, carrying a bucket of hot water to shower for their father. He puts on a suit and wants to take Jack out to eat. And the so-called outside is just the Friday activities of the welfare agency. A woman notices handsome Jack. The 2 fell in love at first sight. After the meal they came to the pub and ordered 2 beers. The husband just got paid today. He wants to have a good drink without telling his wife. I'll pay. During the chat he found that Jack's hands were doing manual work. Obviously he's not a reader. This meal he drank 8 glasses of draft beer. That salary basically made him drink up. On the way home he picked up a stick, but was avoided by Jack. He wanted to use a blow to restore Jack's memory. A sheriff leases our used shipping container to Jack. Rent $100 per week. If he doesn't pay on time, he'll let the hounds eat him. Jack has a foothold by the sea. He cleaned it up. The electrician plugged in the power for him. They picked up 3 big pieces from outside. Single bed, refrigerator and a gramophone. This man with no past lives here. He got a truckload of soil and planted potatoes on it. It's another Friday, and he returns the plate. 2 cow soup has less salt. The woman gives him a business card. Ask him to go to the welfare agency to get a new clothes. You may not imagine, being in this community, living in the containers, are already a luxury. There are people who live in garbage cans. Jack asked the location of the employment service station. He wants to find a job here. But when he has to sign his name, he was in trouble. He doesn't even remember his name. The leader learned about Jack's situation and drove him away directly. He came to the restaurant to get a cup of hot water for free. Take out the tea bag that has been steeped many times and put it in the cup. The lady boss saw this and brought him food. Obviously she just cooked it, but she said it was leftovers at noon. She even asked him if he wanted milk. There are good people everywhere. The down and out Jack got a new suit at the welfare agency. Emma learned about his situation and found a leader, hoping to help him. That's how Jack found a physical job. The sheriff comes to collect the rent at night. He brought the so-called hound, but Jack just found a job. The sheriff let go of the chain and let it bite Jack. But this is obviously a pet dog. Jack promises to start paying on time next week. The sheriff lifted him from the bed, said that he has to go out for a week. He left the dog here for Jack to take care of. If Jack doesn't pay when he comes back, then he will die. Does it have a name? Hannibal. Although Jack's status cannot get the same salary treatment, but he also got $800 after working for a few days. At night he waited for Emma to get off work. Said he was afraid of the dark and hoped that she could give him a ride. Although he has lost her memory, his flirting skills have not diminished in the slightest. Okay, let's go then. The 2 tacitly came to Emma's residence.
Varo.
Mitä?
Sinulla on roska silmässä.
En tunne mitään.
Se on vasta menossa. Anna kun katson.
Varastit suudelman.
Olen pahoillani. En ole herrasmies.
Emma, who never wears makeup, tried mascara. On the day the sheriff came back, Jack paid a month's rent as promised. He wants to borrow his car, but the sheriff has only business on his mind. Hannibal followed Jack. Jack prepares 2 steaks for Emma. The most charred steak was not eaten, but the beans were eaten up. 2 people sitting on sofa. They forge a relationship with the help of music. Watching the growing potatoes, Jack feels that life is getting more and more exciting. He brought the Welfare Society's band to his own container. He hopes they, who have always played lyrical music, learn modern rock and roll. He even begged the director to accept the band change. And the forward-thinking supervisor not only agreed, but took the lead in rehearsing with the band. Another Friday comes. Under the singing of the supervisor, these people who have suffered so much in life began to dance. In the evening, the boys of the band continued to play under the organization of Jack. The sheriff saw that Jack, who had just come over, was about to reach out and ask him for money. But he didn't know this was the play he organized. Sheriff was confused. In the middle of the day's work, Jack saw the light from the welding on the opposite side. He subconsciously walked over and said that he could also. The foreman let him try. They didn't expect this fish scale pattern to be welded quite neatly. That's how he got hired by the company. A bank account is required to earn this salary. Jack went to the bank under the direction of the supervisor to open a digital account. He came to the counter to open an account. A burly man with a gun pushed him aside. He wanted to withdraw the frozen money in the account and smashed the monitor by the way. The teller took him to the vault very calmly and took out the frozen $240,000. The burly man don't want any more. After getting his own money, he locked the two in the vault. Smart teller breaks fire protection. The teller recorded the statement and left here. Jack was arrested by the police for not knowing his name. Fortunately, he watched a lot of movies and knew that he could still make phone calls. Emma finds out about Jack and hires a lawyer for him. They has to let him go under the terms of the law that the lawyer ramble about. But Jack's photo was posted by the police. Jack came to the bar for a drink. The burly man from before found him. He's sorry for what happened and recounted his tragic experience. He is an earthworks boss. But just after he bought 2 new machines, the bank withdrew the loan on the grounds of dishonesty. The machine was sold at a low price to the bank, and the bank sold it for 3 times the price. His bank account was also frozen. Workers were fired for not being paid. He can only rob the bank to get his money back, just to pay those people. With tears in his eyes, he hoped Jack would do him a favor. The two came to the burly man's residence. He has already divided the money. Each one is clearly written. He also gave Jack a reward. He hopes Jack can express his apology to those who are owed wages. The burly man knows his consequence, so he killed himself after Jack left. Jack can totally swallow all the money, but he kept his promise and delivered not everything to their place. The police found Jack today. They got a call from Jack's wife. His name is Jack, and he is a welder in the factory. But what puzzled the police was that the wife knew Jack was missing, but she hadn't called the police. Jack is lost in thought. Then Emma rushed to the man who gave her first love. After learning about Jack's situation, Emma graciously took him to the station. Jack got on the train back home. When he got home, his wife looked very cold. Jack in her mouth is a man addicted to gambling. He lost all the savings in the family. The two always fight. They were divorced a long time ago. Ex-wife's current boyfriend wants to fight him. But as things stand, Jack knows it's best for him to leave. He's back in that broken community. He happened to meet the 3 gangsters last time. Seeing Jack come back to life, they decided to send him off again. But this time Jack picked up the dick. The bastard's face changed greatly. People rush up, chasing away these thugs who have persecuted the community for so long. The sheriff finally appeared. Jack came to the welfare agency and took away the woman who belonged to him. The movie ends here. You may have noticed that these poor people are wearing suits. They are well aware that a person's appearance can impress others. A neat dress will at least not allow these people to be discriminated against because of their appearance, making them even more self-confident. You're not like an alcoholic. And these poor people have one thing in common. They always live a day where there is no tomorrow. I'll pay. People in the same community are beaten indiscriminately, and they are indifferent. They can't be driven until a leader appears. The title is The Man Without a Past. In fact, it is a man who starts over. The man who gambled in the past has completely disappeared in the past. The director used memory loss to express that. No matter how bad you were, but as long as you are willing to face life positively, you must be able to start over. Starting over is like farming. You start with nothing and see your results later. Then you will be relieved. No recap can replace the original film. A good movie deserves you to experience the full story.